The lion never begs to be noticed in the jungle. It is noticed because it exists in truth. The ocean doesn't ask the shore to love it. It simply roars in its fullness. And the sun never competes with stars. It rises, and everything else fades. So tell me, why are you still begging to be seen? Why are you shrinking to be chosen, softening your power just to fit into her preferences, adjusting your identity just to match her fleeting desires? You're not here to apply for love. You're here to awaken it. Not to beg to be an option, but to embody the answer. The kind of presence that doesn't chase, because it radiates. This isn't about arrogance. This is about alignment. You are not a backup plan. You are the fire she can't unfeel. The storm she pretends didn't shake her. But it did. The peace she can't find again. Once you walk away. See, you are the chapter that ruins boys who only play roles. You are the truth that exposes everything fake. So stop wondering if she'll pick you. You are not standing in line for her love. You are the door she must walk through if she's serious about her soul. Let me tell you something. You weren't created to compete with boys who live off likes and lies. You weren't designed to shrink next to men who mold themselves into what she wants. You are the kind of man who knows. I don't chase placement. I carry presence. I attract. Because I know who I am. And until you know that, you will stay stuck in emotional chains, analyzing her replies, checking who she follows, drowning in the chaos of not being enough, wondering if you're too much, too late, too intense. But the truth is, you are not too much. You are not too much. She just wasn't enough woman to recognize the storm of purpose you walk with. You've got something no one else has, and the moment you stop trying to sell it and just be it, that's when she won't be able to unsee it. Because real energy can't be ignored. It's a room and shifts the temperature. It enters a room and shifts the temperature. It speaks without words. It's felt through silence. That's who you are. The reason she overlooks you is because you keep placing yourself below her gaze. But kings don't kneel for validation. They rise. And when they rise, queens recognize. You're not here to compete with her options. You're here to become the one she didn't even know her soul needed. The one who doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't chase. The one who walks away with quiet power. And suddenly she realizes that wasn't a man. That was a whole movement I let slip away. Stop waiting to be picked. You are not a contestant. You are the prize. Not because of ego, but because of effort, because of the inner work, because of the way you've suffered, healed, evolved, and still kept your heart open. You are a man built by fire, and no flame scares you anymore because you've become one. Because you've become one. The most dangerous man in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who walks like he already knows his value because he's bled for it. And when you carry that energy, you don't worry about being an option. You become the only thing that feels like home in a world full of noise. So stop giving your soul away in pieces just to prove you're enough. She doesn't need to be impressed. She needs to be shaken awake. And that doesn't happen with words. That happens when you walk in your truth so boldly, she either rises to meet you or gets left behind in her confusion. This is not about her anymore. This is about you, about your energy, your standards, your clarity, your growth, and your refusal to ever again be a footnote in someone else's story. She will feel your absence like an echo, and when she remembers, it won't be your texts or gifts she misses. It won't be your texts or gifts she misses. It'll be the way your presence anchored her, the way your peace convicted her, the way your silence said everything her noise tried to drown. You are not just a man. You are not just a man. You are a mirror. And when a woman looks into you, she either sees the highest version of herself, or she runs because she's not ready to become it. Either way, you win, so let them compare. Let them swipe, let them flirt with illusions. You are not in competition with anyone. Because the energy you carry can't be copied. It's built, it's earned, and it's sacred. The moment you stop asking, is she going to choose me? And start asking, is she even ready for a man like me? That's when the game changes. Farmer, the game changes. Because a man who knows his worth doesn't worry about being forgotten. He just keeps evolving, and sooner or later, they all remember. Now, if you're still with me, and your soul is awake, then remember this one truth. Stop worrying about being the option. Start being the standard for being the standard. Because a man who moves in truth becomes the choice she can't ignore. The points I'll explain later, but here they are. 1. You're not chasing her, you're chasing your own evolution. 2. Confidence isn't loud, it's alignment. 3. Be rare, not available. 4. Build the energy that exposes the shallow. 5. When you walk away in truth, they always feel it. And that's the truth king. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them try to replace your presence. Because the moment you rise in power is the moment she realizes she never had a choice. She never had a choice. Because you were never an option. You were the only thing real. 1. You're not chasing her, you're chasing your own evolution. There comes a point in a man's life where he wakes up, and it hits him. She was never the destination. She was only the mirror. The woman you thought you needed? She wasn't there to complete you. She wasn't there to complete you. She was there to reveal you, to show you the cracks in your foundation, the parts of you that were still begging, pleasing, performing for approval. She was the test, not the reward. And now you've got to decide, will you keep running in circles, trying to win her attention? Or will you step forward into your own becoming? Because chasing her won't make you a man, but building yourself? That changes everything. This isn't about proving to her that you're good enough. This is about proving to yourself that you've outgrown the need for proof. Proof. You've outgrown the boy inside who thinks love is earned by sacrifice, by silence, by settling. Love isn't earned by turning yourself into who she wants. It's discovered when you become who you were born to be. You think it's about her, but it's never been about her. It's never been about her. It's about your growth, your mission, your alignment with the man God carved inside your bones before you ever knew heartbreak. You keep chasing her, hoping she'll validate your worth. But worth doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from choosing yourself again and again, even when no one's clapping, even when you feel invisible. The moment you stop chasing her is the moment your power returns. And when that power returns, everything changes. Your posture, your energy, your path. And she feels it. Because a man who is focused on his own evolution becomes magnetic, not because he's trying to be, but because he's finally free. So let her go. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. Let go of trying to be the man she wants, and become the man you need to be. Because once you become him, you won't just attract love, you'll attract alignment, and the version of her that you once chased will seem like a small fragment compared to the woman your growth now requires. She was the lesson, but you are the legacy. So stop chasing her. Start evolving. Start evolving you. That's where the real love begins. 2. Confidence isn't loud, it's alignment. Real confidence isn't about how deep your voice is. It's not the car you drive, the watch you wear, or the number of women who notice you. That's noise, that's illusion. That's ego dressed in insecurity. That's ego dressed in insecurity. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself because it's built from the inside out. It's the kind of energy that walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere. Not because it's loud, but because it's true. You see, most men are performing. They wear masks, they flex muscles, bank accounts, smooth lines, but the most powerful man is the one who doesn't need the performance. He just is. Our Stace. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and what he won't tolerate. He doesn't chase validation because he already has internal confirmation. His steps are not driven by lust or fear, but by a higher calling, by alignment with who he is and who he's becoming. That kind of man is rare. and who he's becoming. That kind of man is rare. That kind of man is dangerous, because you can't manipulate him with silence or attention. You can't play games and expect him to dance. You can't bait him with beauty, because he sees through it to the substance behind it. And the woman who meets a man like that, she knows. She knows she can't just be pretty. She has to be present. She has to be real. Because a man who walks in alignment can see the soul. He can read energy. He doesn't fall for the surface. He listens for the frequency. That's what confidence really is. Not trying to impress, but knowing you don't need to. Not needing to speak every thought because your silence already says more than their noise. Not being afraid to lose her because you'd rather be alone in truth than loved in pretense. So if you want to build confidence, don't start with your image. Start with your integrity. Start with your habits. Start with the way you speak to yourself when no one's watching. Because when your inner world is aligned, your outer world can't help but adjust to that power. Adjust to that power. Confidence isn't found in the mirror. It's found in the mirror of your soul. When your actions match your purpose, when your words reflect your values, when your standards are no longer negotiable, that's when she feels it. That's when everyone feels it. That's when everyone feels it. Not because you demanded attention, but because you embodied truth. And that kind of man, he doesn't worry about being ignored, because sooner or later, the whole world turns to face the one who walks with unshakable alignment. 3. Be rare, not available. You were never meant to be everywhere. Never meant to be everywhere. You were never meant to be easy access. Your time, your presence, your energy, they are currency, sacred, limited, powerful. And yet, so many men give it away like it's nothing, answering every call, replying to every text, showing up whenever she's bored, lonely, curious, just to be remembered. But here's the truth no one tells you. If you are always available, you will never be valued. If your energy can be reached at any hour, for any reason, by anyone, then it stops feeling like a gift and starts feeling like a gift and starts feeling like a given. You have to understand something deep. Value is created through scarcity. What is always within reach is rarely ever appreciated. But what is rare, what is disciplined, what is guarded with purpose, that becomes unforgettable. You don't need to play games. You don't need to be toxic. But you do need to protect your essence, because the man who pours himself out for everyone will one day wake up with nothing left for himself. You are not a vending machine of love. You are not a dopamine hit for her convenience. You are not a placeholder while she explores other options. You are the option, but she won't see it. Not until you stop making yourself so easy to reach. You want her to feel your absence? Then stop being constantly present. You want her to respect your presence? Then let her earn your time. Your availability should be a reflection of your standards, not your desperation. You don't show up because she called. You show up when it aligns with your values, your mission, your energy. You've got purpose to chase. You've got inner work to do. You've got vision to build. And any woman who's serious about you will respect that distance. Because that distance proves you're not here to entertain. You're here to elevate. You are not supposed to be everywhere. You are supposed to be undeniable. Not constantly seen, but deeply felt. And when she does feel you, when she does get a moment of your presence, when she does hear your voice or see your name, it'll mean something, because it's no longer ordinary. Be rare. Not to manipulate, but to magnify your impact, because the man who guards his energy is the man who becomes the memory she can't erase. Not because he was always around, but because he was never like anyone else. 4. Build the energy that exposes the shallow. You don't need to beg for honesty from someone who's still hiding from themselves. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. All you need to do is build yourself so powerfully that anything fake, temporary, shallow, or unready can't survive in your presence. That's what real energy does. It doesn't fight, it reveals. It doesn't chase, it shakes. When a man walks in truth, he becomes a mirror. And when someone looks into that mirror, they either face their reflection or they run. Not because you were wrong for them, but because you were too real for the version of themselves they were still pretending to be. So stop trying to fit into broken dynamics. Stop lowering your frequency just to keep the conversation going. Stop softening your light just to make her feel comfortable. Horrible. Hey, because the version of you that bends to be accepted will never be respected. Let your growth speak for itself. Let your peace be louder than their confusion. Let your stillness drown out their chaos. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be light. You are here to be light. And light doesn't negotiate with darkness. It simply shows up and everything false is exposed. The right woman won't be intimidated by your power. She'll be awakened by it. She won't be shaken by your standards. She'll rise to meet them. But the wrong one? She'll say you're too much, too intense, too serious, too direct, too intense, too serious, too direct. And when she says that, remember, you didn't scare her. You simply showed her what she wasn't ready to become. That's what your energy is meant to do. Not entertain everyone, but filter the real from the fake. You are not just building muscles, status, or charisma. You are building presence. You are building presence. An atmosphere, a stillness so deep that nothing chaotic survives inside it. A strength so rooted that no performance can shake it. A heart so clean that no manipulation can contaminate it. That kind of energy is rare, it's intimidating, it's sacred. So build yourself until shallow people fall away without you even saying a word. Until her games feel silly. Until her silence loses power. Until her tests become irrelevant. You don't need to expose her. You just need to elevate you. Because the man who walks in truth makes lies uncomfortable. Makes casual love feel cold. Makes everything small start to collapse. And that's what you're here for. Not to impress, but to reveal. Not to belong, but to become. Because when your energy is aligned with your purpose, no woman can stand in front of it and remain shallow. She'll either rise into something real or disappear into the nothing she came from. And either way, you win. 5. When you walk away in truth, they always feel it. There's a silence that speaks louder than any argument. There's a goodbye that echoes longer than any love story. And there's a man who doesn't leave in anger, doesn't leave in bitterness, doesn't leave to prove a point, but leaves in truth. And that kind of exit, they never forget it, because truth carries a weight. And when a man walks away, rooted in his value, in his purpose, in his alignment, he leaves a void behind that no distraction can fill. You see, most people are used to being left in drama, in chaos, in pain. They expect yelling, pleading, guilt trips, emotional fireworks. But when you walk away in peace, with clarity in your eyes and stillness in your soul, it haunts them. Because now they have to sit with themselves, with everything you didn't say, because you didn't need to, with the mirror you held up and the reflection they tried to ignore. And that's when it hits them. You weren't like the rest. You didn't leave to manipulate. You didn't walk away to get a reaction. You walked away because you outgrew the space, because staying would have meant betraying yourself. That's when the remembering begins. Not when they scroll through your photos. Not when they seek you with someone else. But in the quiet, when they feel your absence. Not your presence, your pressure, your pursuit, but the lack of it. The peace that once covered them. The grounding that once anchored their chaos. The truth that once wrapped around their confusion. And the moment you leave without needing closure, they start chasing it. Because nothing is louder than the exit of a man who knows his worth. A man who doesn't explain himself to someone who refused to understand him. A man who loved deeply, but not at the cost of his dignity. You're not walking away to be heartless. You're walking away to be whole, to honor your own evolution, to give your future self a chance to breathe again. Because the moment you stop fighting to be seen is the moment you're seen by everything real. Let her feel it. Let her sit with it. Let her sit with it. Not to hurt her, but to heal you. Because the man who walks away with grace, with power, with peace, becomes the one she can never replace. Not because of ego, not because of games, but because of how safe you made her feel and how empty the world feels now that you're gone. And here's the truth. She may never say it, she may never admit it, but she'll always remember the man who didn't leave to teach her a lesson, but became the lesson. You walked away, and that silence. You walked away, and that silence became the loudest truth she ever heard. So now, you know, it was never about competing, never about proving, never about begging for a place in someone's story, because you were never an option. You were always the invitation to something real, something rare, something unforgettable. And if they couldn't see that, it's not your burden to carry. It's their lesson to learn in your absence. You don't need to win her over. You need to win yourself back. The man you were before you started shrinking. The man who didn't compromise his truth just to be tolerated. The man who remembered, if I have to become less to be loved, it's not love. It's not love. This world will try to convince you to soften your power, to dull your light, to lower your standards, just to be chosen. But not you. You are not a moment. You are not a maybe. You are not an if. You are the standard. You are the standard. And when you live like it, when you heal, when you grow, when you align your actions with your spirit, your words with your wisdom, your presence with your purpose, she will feel it, even if she doesn't speak, even if she walks away even if she never says your name, she'll feel it in the crowd. In the men who try and fail to match your presence, in the moments when your soul longs for something real, and remembers, because once a man becomes the truth, he no longer needs to be chosen. He chooses himself, and the world rearranges to match his frequency. So walk, not away from him, but deeper into you. Because when you become a fellow man with other people, you stop waiting to be picked, and start living like the answer no. Let her choose, let her stay, let her choose, let her stay, let her go. It doesn't matter anymore, because you're not here to be liked, you're here to be legendary. And a man who knows his worth never has to compete to be remembered. He just becomes unforgettable. Unforgettable.